You like Portland enjoys a pre-NCAA first match. Live from the box office located in the Northeast Corner of the stadium. Good sportsmanship by athletes, coaches, and spectators. Intended the action to take its based on biases in politics, gender, age, race, faith, ethnicity, or sexual orientation will not be tolerated. Third watch removal from the set of competitions. Here's the phrases around on the playfield. Only whistles at the third period of the flow of the game. Spectators caught engaging in such actions will be removed from the stadium or possibly arrested. Your tonight's officials, please welcome referee Jeremy Shear, assistant referee Chris Sherfron, assistant referee Tom Oliche, and our fourth official this evening is Joe Serkin. And now the water lineup for the Charleston Mavericks, who's welcome their captain number 5, Leonard Archer. In goal number 1, Adam Brindless. Number 2, Mark Sigler. Number 3, Joshua Asami. Number 4, Christopher Allen. Number 6, Aaron Malloy. Number 7, Jake Watanabe. Number 8, Emilio Ibaza. Number 10, Arturo Rodriguez. Number 13, Nicholas Martinez. And number 16, Graham Smith. Charleston is led by head coach Dennis Coleman and assistant coaches Jacob Weinstein, Tim Davis, and Brian Jones. Today's match ball is being delivered by season ticket number Jordan Huggins. Today's match ball being delivered by season ticket number Jordan Huggins.
Tuning in 126 days ago, it was bedlam at WakeMed Soccer Park as Luis Arriaga scored the game-winning penalty in the shootout of the USL League One final versus the Charlotte Independents to give North Carolina FC their first ever championship. Now they are back in the USL Championship, and their home opener is a Southern Derby against the Charleston Battery, who were the Eastern Conference champs a year ago. And it all starts next right here on CBS Sports Golazo Network. And we welcome you to the beautiful WakeMed Soccer Park on what has been a soggy Saturday, but both teams are out and ready to go. Raheem Summersall returns. He'll get the start tonight. It's the opening game as North Carolina FC returns to the USL Championship. And good evening, everyone. Dean Linke, delighted to be with the great Andrew Tate. And Andrew Tate, after a phenomenal year, we're back in the USL Championship.
Yeah, 3 seasons in USL League One. They're back now. It was 2019, though, where they had their best season, 16 wins, and they'll be hoping for that and more this year.
John Bradford certainly didn't sit pat. He added a lot of quality players. Who do you have your eye on?
For me, it's got to be Rodrigo da Costa, the 30-year-old Brazilian, hails from Rio. He is a difference maker, a threat, a real talent in the attacking lineup. He's a player that was the top scorer for Memphis, scored 15 goals. Expect him to have an impact for the home team tonight.
All right, speaking of top players from Memphis, now with the Charleston Battery by way of Dublin, Ireland, Aaron Malloy, the former star for Penn State.
Yeah, and he reunites with his old coach, Ben Pearman. He is one of the best midfielders in the league. And talking to John Bradford, he's a player that I think everyone in the league had a target on. He's ended up here in Charleston, and a player that both sides of the ball, his numbers are great, and he's one of the top players in the league.
He is not afraid to shoot from 35 or longer. Also returning for North Carolina FC, he was dubbed Golex Anderson, as Olex Anderson Jr. is back to try to score more goals for the home team, moving up to USL Championship. John Bradford, the top man for North Carolina FC. Ben Pearman, the top man for the Charleston Battery. When we return, we'll have the lineups and the kick. North Carolina FC in Charleston coming up next.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Select Physical Therapy is here for you. Select Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Select Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
That's why Lenovo launched the Evolve Small Initiative. We gave every small business the opportunity to use Queen Latifah as the face of their marketing with their own customized video. So far, Lenovo Evolve Small, in partnership with AMD and Microsoft, has helped over 1,000 women and minority-owned small businesses to thrive. With more than $2.4 million in grants, tech, mentorship, and marketing resources. Stay tuned for what's next with Lenovo Evolve Small.
It's tough these days to find healthy and fast, but at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chaufa, with sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family-owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Select Physical Therapy is here for you. Select Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Select Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
Opening day at WakeMed Soccer Park alongside Andrew Tate. I'm Dean Linke, and let's go to work and show you the starting lineups. We'll start with the home team, North Carolina FC.
Yeah, and it's a new-look team for 2024. Just 7 out of the 20 listed today were involved in that USL League One final last year. 4 of those starting: Perez, Summersall, Mensingen, and Olex Anderson Jr. 7 debutants joined them. Jake Maguire returns in goal after 2 years with Miami. It's a physically gifted back three, marshaled by Paco Craig in the middle. Armstrong's engine, Martin's composure in the middle, and DaCosta's mercurial talents make this an exciting 11.
And the starting lineup for Ben Pierman and the Charleston Battery.
And it's evolution, not revolution, for head coach Ben Pierman and the Battery. 6 of that starting 11 from the 2023 USL Championship final start tonight and are accompanied by 5 debutants. They had some big departures in Muse, Dobson and Barajas, but they've arguably gotten stronger with 2-time Open Cup winning goalkeeper Adam Grinwis, the leadership of Graham Smith, attacking fullback Josh Drack, and the all-action Jake LaCava, not to mention the impact of Aaron Malloy in the middle.
All right, the Charleston Battery, who lost to Phoenix Rising FC in penalty kicks and a sold-out crowd in Charleston. Ben Pierman, one of the top young, bright coaches, as well as John Bradford, both of them, 2 of the best coaches out there.
Yeah, good young coaches as well. 38 years young, Ben Pierman. I think John's in and around that. I won't give him his age away, but yeah.
Double 4s.
Yeah.
That's pretty young.
That's what I said. Yeah. I think I saw him on a chat show this week. They were talking about, you're really young, you know. He's right around my age.
North Carolina FC back in USL Championship, and they are underway, taking on the Charleston Battery. North Carolina FC in the dark blue kit, in the all-white kit, the Charleston Battery. These two teams, when North Carolina FC debuted as then-named Carolina Railhawks in 2007, it was an all-out war every time these two teams got together. And you got to figure they'll pick right up. It's great to have this derby renewed by the return to USL Championship. Back for the Charleston Battery. Here's Mark Segbers, who was a great attacking player for John Trask and the Wisconsin Badgers, leading Wisconsin to the Big Ten Tournament Championship game with a penalty kick victory over Indiana years ago. Segbers was part of the law firm with Wisconsin that included Chris Bueller, Tommy Barlow, Segbers, and Mike Catalano. Middle of the park, and a whistle. Take a look at the referees. Jeremy Shear, the man in the middle. Chris Scher, Franz, Tom Flees, Joe Sergen also involved. It'll be Jeremy Shear's job to control things. He's talking to Aaron Malloy, who has become a first 11 player in USL Championship and one of the better players indeed. We saw him with forward Madison at USL League One. He got back over to Memphis with Ben Pierman. When Ben left to go to Charleston last year, he played one more year at Memphis, but when his contract expired, he was kind of in a hurry, Andrew, to rejoin Ben. He's from Dublin, Ireland. Aaron Malloy, former Penn State Nittany Lion, bounces in and around and knocked out of there.
Just on that, Dean, yeah, like his numbers at Memphis were great. You know, his recoveries, not just the defensive side of the ball, but going forward, he had the most passes, most crosses, most chances created. And now you plug him into a Battery team that was a couple of penalty kicks away from winning the championship. And that's what we're saying. They've lost some big players, but when you throw in a player like Aaron Malloy, they're arguably saying they've got better. So exciting times for Battery fans.
Well said. Rainy and windy all day, and just kind of perfect timing, really, as the rain stopped. It is not quite as cold as I thought. They mentioned it might get down to 40 degrees a little later, but it is quite pleasant, actually.
Yeah, it's a great night, Dean. I've looked at this week as it's almost like Christmas. You know, we've got the home opener today. It's NCFC Youth's 50th birthday on Monday, and then the Courage home opener next weekend. If we could just, we've even got the crummy Christmas weather to go with it, Dean. You know, I think that's part of the problem. But great night, good crowd in, and then the dueling bands at either end of the stadium as well just make for a really good atmosphere.
Yeah, Charleston had some fans travel, and of course the Oak City supporters are back. Good play coming forward there by Paco Craig, the captain. Ostensibly, North Carolina FC going with 3 in the back, but as you look right now, it's 5 at the back quite often. And that includes Rafa Menzigen, who loves to get forward. So Rafa will be taking on, I feel like, a little bit more defensive responsibility in this formation.
Yeah, absolutely. But talking to John Bradford, he said, look, Rafa just wants to play. He's keen to contribute in whatever way he can.
Rui Perez.
Caught there. Stays down.
Looks like he's going to get back up. Louis Perez, a key part of last year's USL League One Championship winning team.
And the big, sorry, Dean.
That was Batista. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, we're going back to the Rafa thing. You know, I was talking to John about the back 3, and they've signed 3 really strong specimens, athletes at the back, and Batista, Craig, and Washington. And I said, was it always your plan to sort of go with that back 3? And once they got those players locked in, they were able to sort of work with the wing backs. And some of the players they've got in the squad, the likes of Flores Blanco and Shaq Brewer, they've got some real athletic players that will be able to get up and down and operate in those wing back positions. We know Rafa likes to put in a lot of work, so.
They have 25 legitimate players and then also have academy players, including at home games. You're allowed to sit 2 or 3 on the bench. Academy players, what a great opportunity. Even if they don't play, what an incredible opportunity. And let's say a game's going great for you and you can slip them in for 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it makes a lot of sense. And obviously for North Carolina especially, that youth to pro pathway is such an important thing. And I know John, speaking to him, he's very keen to make sure there's a number of players in and around the first team and on the bench that can contribute despite their youthful appearance.
Hey fans, welcome to the 2024 USL Kickoff presented by Terminix. Throughout the month of March, the USL will be kicking off across the country. Join us for all the action on ESPN and the CBS Sports platform, including the CBS Sports Golazo Network, where we open the season here tonight in Cary, North Carolina, not that far from Raleigh, in the Triangle, which is made up of Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, and ever expanding. I mean, it is growing by the minute in all markets. Here's Ezra Armstrong. What a story, for me anyway. My first job as an intern with U.S. Soccer in 1989. First day I walked in the door, Desmond Armstrong, his father, who was on the 90 World Cup team, had broke his leg, and they asked me to do a story about the fact that he was an accomplished artist, like a really good artist. And he went on to have 6 or 7 kids, including the talented Ezra Armstrong. What a nice young man. And, I mean, he looks like a stud out there.
Yeah, he's even followed your instructions, Dean, to make himself stand out by wearing a yellow and a blue boot, right? I mean, commentator's dream.
I'll tell you, he does not need to stand out, man. That guy is a handsome dude, super nice guy. Good effort there. A little extra push from Bryce Washington. Looking for the call was Perez, as Olex Anderson Jr. was also there. Here's Bryce Washington. I got to call him for a couple years. He was with Dan Donegan in the Rutgers Scarlet Knights before transferring to Pitt. It was good to reconnect with him at practice this week. And here's Armstrong. He'll get away from Ezra. Segbers with the throw-in. Laid over by Graham Smith from another player that left Memphis 901 FC. North Carolina FC used to have a pretty good Graham Smith in the middle of the park. I would say a different Graham Smith. Little touch there by Raheem Summersall, but it'll come with the whistle. You and I were talking about just the amazing emergence of Raheem Summersall last year after getting called up by his national team, and they're not going to call that foul. When he returned from, I think it was the Gold Cup, maybe, I can't remember, but when he returned, he was a different player. Raheem Summersall.
Yes. hard to think of growing, and Raheem Somersault already started. Hard to think he could grow any further, but just his presence on the field has grown, his touch, both sides of the ball. He was an attacking presence towards the back end of the season, scored the equaliser in the final, Dean. Who would have thought he'd be the one to get the score level and get them to penalties? But that was just epitomised his season, really. It was all action, lots of quality, lots of endeavour, and he's earned the right today to start in the Championship, which is full credit to his journey from playing here in the Triangle for Triangle Football Club many years ago, and then App State down the road, and now he's getting real close to the big time.
Opening game, and Charleston drums are every bit as loud as North Carolina FC drums. Charleston Battery, an incredible story with Ben Pierman joining the Battery. The turnaround from the year before to last year, making it all the way to the final, is, I think, one of the most prolific turnarounds in the history of USL Championship.
Yeah, to do that in your first season with the club as well, I mean, all the more impressive. And I'm not quite sure how he didn't get Coach of the Year, but I guess that's a credit to Bob Lilly and what the job he's done at Pittsburgh Riverhounds to deny Ben Pierman and the Battery and the turnaround and get to the championship final. It's been a couple of penalties away from clinching it.
Olex Anderson Jr. knocks down Aaron Malloy.
Let's get a second look at it here. I mean, the ball's out there. I can see why Anderson's gone for it. Just left a little bit on Malloy there. But he's a player they've got to keep their eye on. He will dictate play and create chances. You can see Anderson's going to be kind of hovering around him, I think, throughout the 90.
Armstrong off of his head, not out of bounds. There'll be a throw in back to the Charleston Battery. Storybook season. The club knew they were already going to the USL Championship, but as a debate rolls on about promotion, which, you know, we're a long ways away from in this country, kind of cool to win USL League One and then jump up.
I think that's the way you're supposed to go out, isn't it, Dean? Right? That's the way you got to draw it up and execute. I don't think anyone would have probably seen it coming after 2 years of, you know, finishing in towards the latter end of the table. But we talk about Charleston's turnaround season. John Bradford turning around 2 seasons of struggle and getting, it was a 33-point improvement for them. Just one short of what Charleston turned around, but 33-point improvement and a trophy at the end of it. They were on the right side of a penalty shootout, whereas the Battery, unfortunately for them, were just a couple of kicks away. But yeah, full credit to John, the club, the way they've progressed things over the last 3 years to now be in the championship, and the continued investment and lots of exciting things happening in both North Carolina and South Carolina in championship soccer.
Charleston will take their time building it out of the back. They'll give it over to Segbers. Segbers in college really featured as an attacking player, but has done a nice job being converted to a right back. Armstrong with a touch. Armstrong. Ooh, wow, good tackle coming in there by Archer. Well, that answers the question as take a look at it here.
It's a fantastic tackle from Archer. Armstrong had committed to shooting, and I think he sort of followed through into Archer, which I think was left him with a bit of a sore one. He's back in position now, but that was a great little bit of play from North Carolina FC there. The touch, I think, from DaCosta just to spring Armstrong into the space. That's something that I think North Carolina fans can get excited about, because that's the quality on the ball that he has, not just to score goals, but to create them as well.
So well said. That DaCosta's pass was perfect. There's Washington running it down. What I'm starting to say is, you see Mensigan, you and I at practice were talking about the fact that Rafa's going to have to do more defensive work, and we wondered kind of out loud, is Armstrong also an attacking player? And he's already been in the 18 a couple times.
Yeah, he looks quick, doesn't he? He looks like he can cover the ground. He's very sharp. I think his touch there was just a touch too heavy. But yeah, certainly a player that we saw in the few minutes of training, just getting up and down that left side. He's going to have a lot of grass to work with here at Wakemed Soccer Park.
Boy, speaking of that, how great does the field look?
Yeah, there's not too many days that it looks in poor shape, but always opening day, Dean, it's impeccable. They've been out there with the scissors, blade by blade, getting it to the appropriate measurements.
It feels like that, literally. And think about all the rain we had today, too.
It's an absolute carpet.
John Bradford standing up. There's Mark Segbers with the throw-in.
I got the pleasure, Dean, of speaking to John while he was in the car with the family on the way to the stadium today, and they were excited for it. They were talking about predictions and things like that, and all the other USL Championship games that were kicking off today. Just an exciting time for them as a family, and you know, they've sacrificed a lot for John to get to this level and have the success that he's having. It's not easy for a family as well that's involved in soccer with themselves, but to support their coach, father as well, through all the struggles and tribulations that they go through.
Yeah, John Bradford has been classy every step of the way, win or lose, and has earned the right to be the top man. And just to clarify, as Andrew Tate mentioned, North Carolina FC celebrating their 50th year, he's talking about Castle / NCFC Youth, 50 years total. Multiple CEOs. Now Gary Butte, one of the best CEOs in the country, leading one of the best youth teams in the country, North Carolina FC. 50 years on Monday. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's been a real hotbed of talent, and there's lots of players that I think have gone through the program that are now either coaching or in the championship, the likes of Jeremy Kelly and players like that. Connor Donovan out in Sacramento Republic. There's lots of players. I was expecting a few more maybe to come back and be a part of the championship team here, but we'll have to face off against them this season. But yeah, just exciting times, I think, for football here, not only in North Carolina, but I think in the United States. The quality that's in the championship now, from where it was maybe 3-4 years ago, is exciting as well.
Louis Perez. Louis, kind of like Olex, and I mean everybody, when you win a championship, all the fans love you, but I feel like Louis kind of became a fan favorite last year as well.
I'm just looking for that left foot today, Dean. Right? We've seen some absolute rockets fly off that left peg. He can hit a ball purer than most top players, I would say.
A few late game left-footed rockets that were pretty special.
Yeah, between the left foot of DaCosta and the left foot of Perez, free kicks could be interesting, those arguments over who's taking those.
Played in the middle to Martin.
High line from the Battery.
Great touch. Rafa. Olex Anderson Jr. at Segbers. Coming all the way back. Right back to knock it away. And play it over to Chris Allen. Both Allen and Malloy, who are playing side by side, spent time at Memphis 901 FC. Here's Segbers. Give it back to Aaron Malloy. That was the right foot of Aaron Malloy. Really good pass. Shot with the right foot. Knocked out of there by Bryce Washington. Now Segbers. Segbers. Knocked away, one bounce, and as you mentioned, Jake McGuire, after a couple years gone, is back in goal. Oh, they called it. I don't know what they called there. Handball? Okay.
It's a delay, wasn't it? He was just looking to see if there was an advantage, or he got some information from his assistant, but it's a free kick in a good area. There's the hand just above his head there, Perez.
Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Loy over the ball. Josh Drack. Number 3 is also there. Pretty certain it's going to be Malloy. Malloy gets this one pretty well. It goes off of North Carolina FC. It'll be a corner kick as Arturo Rodriguez, the Mexican who was with Phoenix Rising FC, runs over there. They'll wait for Malloy, I think, to come over to take the corner. 19 minutes in, North Carolina FC returning to the USL Championship. Part of the Eastern Conference, where they'll play every team, all 12 teams in the Eastern Conference. So they'll play 11 teams twice, and then they'll play the 12 teams from the Western Conference once. They give you a 34-game schedule, 17 home games here at North Carolina FC, not including exhibitions and potential Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup games. Whipped around, and McGuire still in trouble there. Charlotte is dangerous, but the counter is on right now. Louis Perez. Olex Anderson Jr. wanted that a long time ago, and it'll be a yellow card coming to Jake LaCava. Spent time with Inter Miami.
It's a great ball in from Malloy, hangs it right into the crossbar. Maguire gets a touch on it, but doesn't clear the danger. It bounces around. There's a lot of blue shirts in the way. Bryce Washington right at the heart of that there. And then we'll just see the challenge here on Perez. LaCava just leaves something on him there.
Charleston Battery were the then Carolina Righthawks' first ever home win during the team's inaugural season in 2007. Outside of NCFC's time in the NASL and USL One, the fixture between the two has been a common occurrence over the years, as we got another whistle here.
Got his arms mixed up there, the ref initially giving a free kick to North Carolina FC, much to the dismay of the Battery. He's giving it the other way. They're trying to say that maybe a yellow card, as they've just seen LaCava pick up one. Perez gets the ball, but I think it's the stud showing that the referee's not happy with.
There, Louis Perez, Segbers. Fairly high press here from North Carolina FC. See Colin Martin, really good communicator. Another big pickup for North Carolina FC in the offseason.
Yeah, Dean, we were talking about Paco Craig being the captain. I think Colin Martin's a player that has really impressed the coaching staff. Weren't maybe necessarily aware of how much of a leader he was, but I think in the few weeks here in the preseason, they've really seen him step up and be an integral part of this group with so many new faces. He's really slotted in well here back in North Carolina.
Batista sends that forward. Wondered about the bench for North Carolina FC. Their backup goalkeeper, Antonio Carrera, who will play. I mean, one of the key things about this 25-man roster is John Bradford has already said he's not going to be afraid to switch around lineups from week to week and keep people fresh. And he can do that because he doesn't feel like there's any drop-off.
Yeah. And I spoke to him about Garrett McLaughlin, the captain last year, integral member of the squad. Doesn't make the 20 today, and he's a player that we know last year he didn't start the first couple of games. He was injured, kind of took him a while to get into the group, but once he got fit and some opportunities, he was a player that was absolutely integral to the team's success last year. So that's the quality of the squad that they've got this year. I think rotation is certainly something that we'll see, Dean, which will keep us on our toes as commentators, as players starting and rotating in and out will certainly keep us active and shuffling our papers.
Batista lost the ball, so here comes the Battery. Good job with multiple blue jerseys getting back behind the ball. Aaron Malloy over to Segbers. This is Allen. Good bit of pressure coming there from Bryce Washington wearing that 27 jersey. Pretty nice crowd on hand for opening game for the team that won the USL League One title a year ago. Somersault directing traffic as Batista finds Armstrong. Armstrong gets it in the middle. Getting right back up to win it is DaCosta. Rodrigo DaCosta. It was a no doubt we gave. I mean, when you have the word great in front of your name, great Andrew Tate, who can commentate great, we gave him the choice of picking who was going to.
I hope that's why I'm called great, yeah.
And you were automatic, man. You were like DaCosta.
Yeah, I think when there was obviously a plethora of signings that were made really early. They did the work early with North Carolina, unlike some other clubs in the championship this season, but they got a lot done, and I think DaCosta was one of the first 2 or 3 to sign, and straight away you see the highlight video, Dean, and his highlights go on for about 15 minutes, I feel, and that's in 1 season, so that's the quality of the man.
Armstrong turns out to be a pretty good ball. Alex Anderson Jr. tries to ride the bike, but the ball went all the way up his body and never got over his head. So headed the other way is LaCava and Charleston. Drop back to Malloy. Malloy always sees the field really well as they switch it to the left side. Charleston again in their visiting white uniforms. North Carolina FC as Mexican does the job defensively. Rafa. He's had a couple banger years for North Carolina FC. There's Ben Pierman. Ben Pierman was a quality player at Michigan State. He was the captain of the 2008 team at Michigan State that won the double in Joe Baum's final year. If you look up Joe Baum, B-A-U-M, one of the legendary college coaches who came out of St. Louis. Damon Rensing was the assistant coach and the coach in waiting. Damon Rensing still the top man at Michigan State. Right side here. Damon's brother is Ben Pierman's #1 assistant, Devin Rensing.
There's a real Brazilian connection here now. Dean was totting up the numbers. You see DaCosta just using his body really well to invite the tackle from Rodriguez and wins the foul. With Perez that'll take the free kick, but now with DaCosta and Mensingen in the lineup today, 2 Brazilians. You've got Daniel Navarro and Pekka, who's on the coaching staff. So I think there's a real kind of carpool going on with those 4 at the moment. The Brazilian connection, the Rio boys.
Yeah, I was talking to him before the game. My wife's headed to Sao Paulo tomorrow. The NFL is going to play an official game in Sao Paulo in August. I think the Eagles are involved in the game. She's headed there tomorrow to get that one planning. And this one deflected. Shot from distance. Luis Perez definitely ready to play.
Yeah, he's been heavily involved in this opening 30 minutes here. Doesn't quite catch it with the ferociousness that we've seen Perez in before. But we're certainly going to ask a question of the goalkeeper in Grinwis, and now we'll get to see Perez deliver an out-swinging corner. First chance to see some of those towering centre-backs for North Carolina FC in Batista, Craig and Washington.
Corner kick coming right at the top of the 6. That one fell to Martin, who mishit it to go out of bounds. So a good crowd, young and old, enjoying the start of the season for there in a 2-4-1. Batista loses his shoe.
No sympathy for losing your shoe. You've got to get on with it, apparently.
Yeah, the referee looked right at him.
Luckily, these shoes these days are slip-on. It's not like the old days, Dean, where you had to take 20 minutes to lace them up.
Yeah, the old days, I mean, you'd lace them up and then you'd actually put them under your shoe, right? And then lace them back over top as well.
Yeah, hopefully you get that double knot undone, and yeah, you'd be in trouble right now. But quick slip-on for Batista, and he's back in the action. It's been a very patient opening 30 minutes for both teams. Not a lot of action at either end, Dean, but hopefully that will allow the 90 minutes to have the quality that we expect. I know, speaking to the coaches, I don't think anyone's 90 minutes fit right now, and I remember being here, Dean, for the last championship game before COVID. There's a Louisville opener here, and it wasn't a hot day or anything, but after 60 minutes, you could see the players were blowing, and Wakemed's an uncompromising surface. It's huge, it's vast, and all the emotions and adrenaline that goes through you on opening day can really take it out of you.
Good work by Batista. And then Martin immediately finds Olex Anderson Jr. Perez is calling for it. Perez gets it to his left, knocked out of bounds by Segbers. It'll be a corner kick. Corner kick, North Carolina FC. What a good start for Perez.
Yeah, I was just thinking the home team just starting to grab a little bit more control of the game. Seeing a couple of corners now, and DaCosta starting to link with Perez there. You're seeing the connection between those two, the silky left foots. Getting Anderson involved there as well. We haven't really seen much of him and the trouble that he can cause.
Perez. And a whistle. As he was looking to find Craig. You're right. Batista, Craig, and Washington, all three of them have good height.
Well, if you compare them to the centre-backs last year, the likes of David Garcia and co, like, it was just, there wasn't a lot of, Navarro wasn't, he was one of the taller ones. You know, you had Gustavo Fernandez as well. They were all great in the air, but they weren't 6-foot towering specimens like they've got back there now. So, I mean, Batista's 6'5", Dean, so he's, and I saw him jumping in the warm-up. He could jump higher than my height, I felt, so. Just real athletes.
Tough ball, good hustle to get out of trouble. And here come the battery, Armstrong. They'll try to recover, and he'll knock it out of bounds. There won't be a corner kick, and a pretty clean tackle there by Ezra Armstrong.
Great recovery, showing that pace, Armstrong, that we've talked about. Battery aren't small either, Dean, with the likes of Graham Smith and Leland Archer coming up from the back, two towering centre-backs.
Malloy always puts a ton of speed on all of his free kicks and corner kicks. It's got some swerve in it too. He scored some wonder goals for Jeff Cook at Penn State.
This is a great angle to look at this. It falls kindly to Allen there. He just slices it. I think he's got to hit the target there. Middle of the goal, top of the box. Good luck for the battery.
Jake McGuire, we barely said his name or Adam Grinwis, the two goalkeepers respectively for North Carolina FC and Charleston Battery. Armstrong loses it. Segbers, pretty good pass. And there's McGuire, still some spillage. Gonna play on, a little bit of a slip, and that's going to lead to a corner kick.
Whoa. There's been a few slips today, Dean. We talked about how wet it is, but there's a lot of players that have lost their balance on the surface today. I think we're in double digits. And that one there, I didn't know if it hit Craig's hand there for a second. It was an awkward one. See it here. Just fumbles it. Thankfully, Batista was there to shield it. They're going to deal with the corner now.
Malloy rips one far post this time. 50-50 ball, and Malloy's going to knock it off of Olex Anderson Jr. John Bradford had several players warming up. Earlier, Ben Pierman had one player warming up. This game's kind of flying along. We're in minute 34 already. Summersaw, the interception. Perez to Martin. Martin, pretty good ball to Olex Anderson Jr., who's got Armstrong making a run. Olex Anderson Jr. drops it through. Flag is down. Turning with it. Back heel Armstrong. And it got denied before it ever reached Grinwis. And now headed the other way. Here comes Rodriguez. He'll drop it to Markanik. Spent some time with FC Cincinnati. Boy, and just like that, Charleston back the other way, but that was a pretty good opportunity a moment ago from North Carolina FC, Andrew.
Yeah, both goalkeepers there starting to get a little bit worried there. Maguire fumbling the one, and there almost Grimwis was nearly called into action as DaCosta was into a great position, but some white shirts managed to get back. There's another slip, Dean. Add that to the tally. Just a lot of rain received earlier in the week, and then today poured overnight.
North Carolina FC, a ton of off-season work. Their owner, Steve Malik, adding more and more investors. Chandra playing a key role, and then Francie Gottsagen, the president of both teams. They added a new COO, Ralph, from Penn State. Good to talk to him the other night at an event for North Carolina FC. Kurt Johnson still remains. Kurt Johnson spends a lot of time in Charleston, so knows this Battery team pretty well. I had trouble getting in outside because Jorge Acuna was doing an autograph signing, and it took a while to get around all that, you know?
Yeah. The man, the myth, the legend, back on his old stomping grounds. I had to blink a few times, slap myself in the face to make sure that I was seeing what was in front of me.
Here's Archer. Perez. That's good work in tight quarters there. Led by Markanik, number 13. Ben Pierman had a lot of good things to say about Markanik when we got together earlier this morning. "37 minutes. Olex Anderson Jr. Couple touches. Costa has it taken away, and then Malloy's on it.
That's great play from Malloy. We talk about what he does on the ball, but there, that was a key moment. If that ball manages to skip through to Golex Anderson, no one's catching him there.
Flag is up, offside. The USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings, as Jake McGuire right at the top of the 18 will send that one out of bounds. Segbers.
Say possession favours the Battery, I think, this half, Dean, and you wonder, will the home team pay for that in the second half? Just the amount of time they're having to shuffle and close down spaces and gaps. They're not in any rush, the Battery.
Allen back over to Malloy. And Malloy is fouled again, and Summersaw is going to get a yellow card. Summersaw, who last year paired with Mikey Maldonado. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, just catches the toe, doesn't he, of Malloy? Just teases him in. So that's the second yellow card of the game. Jake McCarver, the only other one. The possession team, just looking at the stats here, we're at 67% Battery in this opening 39 minutes. Not really been able to trouble or hurt North Carolina with it, but as I said, patient play.
Golex putting some pressure on Adam Grinwis. Grinwis, who has spent the last several years with the Orlando MLS team, playing quite a bit with the reserve squad, but was on the bench for a ton of MLS games. He was on the bench in 2010 when the Michigan Wolverines made it all the way to the College Cup out in Santa Barbara. That one will go out of bounds. Nicknamed Grinny, Adam Grinwis, 31 years young, and so as you see Rafa, in talking to Ben Pierman about Adam Grinwis, the goalkeeper for the Charleston Battery, you know, he feels like 31 is kind of when goalkeepers are in their prime, actually.
Yeah, so losing Trey Muse to the MLS was a big blow, but to bring in a player like that that's got MLS experience at a peak time in his age is a huge pickup.
Corner kick for Malloy. What a battle from Olex Anderson Jr. and DaCosta showing some quality. I think he was hoping that, I don't know if he was intending that for Anderson or if he was hoping that perhaps Perez or Martin were running behind him.
Yeah, the missed opportunity there, I think, was the Brazilian connection with his fellow countryman Rafa Mensingen there. As DaCosta acknowledges, puts his hand up, because if he could have played that ball into space for Mensingen, there's an opportunity to get him behind that Battery back line, which I haven't been able to do too many times today.
41st minute. Flag's going to go up. As offside was Nick Marcani. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. No score. North Carolina FC is back in the USL Championship. Dropped down to USL League One for a few seasons. They end up winning USL League One. Their last season was 20-20 when they went 6-8-1, what we're calling the COVID year. 2019, 16 wins. Lost in the playoff play into Birmingham. 2018, they went 13-13-8. Missed playoffs by just 2 points. Free kick opportunity here coming late in the first half. Malloy, he's taken a lot of corners, a lot of free kicks.
Sprayed a lot of passes, and he does it all, doesn't he? We haven't seen him up close and personal here at WakeMed Soccer Park for a while, and just his development and what he's doing for the Battery on his debut is pretty impressive, I would say. And you can see he's going to be a big piece for them this season.
Minute 43, Malloy just puts a different read on the ball. Sends this one far post, a little pushing and shoving. They'll call that one against Charleston Battery. That looked like the right call to me, as a couple players went down, one's still down.
Just gets a little bit of an elbow to the back of the head. No intention from Leyland Archer there, but a little bit of a sore one for the North Carolina captain, Paco Craig. Now, they've dealt with those set pieces. We talked about a lot. The Battery have had a lot of opportunities to put the ball in there, but barring maybe one or two slightly hairy moments, North Carolina defended them well.
Andrew, I started talking earlier about all the new members of the front office, including Austin DeLuz, who's back, the former face of the franchise, who is in the sponsorship department. But the point of that is they've even changed the concessionaire, the fan experience. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm smelling the food. I mean, it's a great atmosphere out here.
Yeah, it was wafting through my nostrils earlier, Dean. I bit my tongue. I wanted to say something, but I didn't. No, it is. It's. I mean, the fan fest before you come through and you're kind of kicking yourself a little bit. As much as we've got the best seat in the house, I wouldn't mind getting involved in that for an hour or two before kickoff, you know. But I was here for the championship final, got to be a fan for the day and bring my son out here. He'd never seen a penalty shootout. I'd taken him to Wembley to see my hometown club play in a cup final, and it was a dour 1-0 win, but I didn't have the fireworks that was literally fireworks here at the stadium, you know, and a penalty shootout to go with it, and he was losing his marbles. So, yeah, it's a real fun day out here at Wake Men's Soccer Park for sure.
Renwis feeling the pressure from Olex Anderson Jr. It'll be something I think your son will always remember in one way or the other. That's great that you're able to treat him to that as we're in minute 45, sent back across. Dwyer not too worried as Armstrong ends up knocking that one out of bounds. Well, quickly, Andrew Tate, I want to get your thoughts on what the coaches are thinking. We'll start with Ben Pierman, who led his team to the USL Championship final game a year ago. What is he thinking about his team right now?
I think he'll be really happy. They've dominated possession, limited North Carolina's attacking threats, and really maybe a little bit more quality in some of the set pieces in terms of attacking it, in terms of getting free. But on away from home, start of the season with 4 or 5 new faces in the lineup, I think he'll be really happy.
And how about John Bradford, the head coach of North Carolina FC?
I think equally happy. You know, you've got 7 debutants out there. You're trying a system that you didn't play last year. I think you're really happy that you're going against the championship runners-up and Eastern Conference champions, and you've gone toe-to-toe and had some really good chances. So, yeah, both coaches, I think, will be happy and hopeful for the second half.
So Costa did enough to come back and help out North Carolina FC, who had to be a little worried that they were going to give up a goal here as we're in stoppage time. 1 minute of stoppage time. We're about 30 seconds through that 1 minute. Still no score. Opening game of USL Championship. Busy day. We'll look around at the scoreboard at halftime. More and more exciting news coming out of USL, both on the men's side and the women's side, who will in August start the Super League. And that is the first half whistle. North Carolina FC, winners a year ago of USL League One, return to USL Championship. Olex Anderson Jr. dangerous a couple times. Costa as well. The Charleston Battery had a lot of possession. Mike McGinty, John Bradford, they're going to go talk it over. We got a lot to talk about as it relates to all good things at USL. We'll do that when we return with your halftime score. North Carolina FC 0, the Charleston Battery 0. Opening day here in Cary.
That's why Lenovo launched the Evolve Small Initiative. We gave every small business the opportunity to use Queen Latifah as the face of their marketing with their own customized video. So far, Lenovo Evolve Small, in partnership with AMD and Microsoft, has helped over 1,000 women and minority-owned small businesses to thrive. With more than $2.4 million in grants, tech, mentorship, and marketing resources. Stay tuned for what's next with Lenovo Evolve Small.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Select Physical Therapy is here for you. Select Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Select Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
It's tough these days to find healthy and fast, but at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chaufa, with sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family-owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
That's why Lenovo launched the Evolve Small Initiative. We gave every small business the opportunity to use Queen Latifah as the face of their marketing with their own customized video. So far, Lenovo Evolve Small, in partnership with AMD and Microsoft, has helped over 1,000 women and minority-owned small businesses to thrive. With more than $2.4 million in grants, tech, mentorship, and marketing resources. Stay tuned for what's next with Lenovo Evolve Small.
Welcome back to WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary. A really fantastic crowd for opening day as North Carolina FC returns to USL Championship for the first time since 2020. And they've got the Southern Derby against last year's Eastern Conference champs, the Charleston Battery, but no score. North Carolina FC 0 and the Charleston Battery 0. Dean Linke, delighted to be in my 18th season with the club, joined by Andrew Tate. And Andrew Tate, what a great feeling, great vibe. Charleston, yeah, had a little bit more, but it's just great to be back at WakeMed Soccer Park.
Yeah, two really attacking lineups. I was really expecting a lot of attacking moments and goals. It hasn't quite happened, but it's a really intriguing contest, and I'm excited for the next 45.
You touched on it in the first half, but tons of changes in the offseason, new additions to the front office, obviously tons of additions to the roster for John Bradford. I think it's all positive, plus the 50 years with the youth club that you also represent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just the soccer in this area right now, there's a lot going on, and I think soccer across the country, it's moving in the right direction. It's exciting. When I look back at my childhood, it's dark, dreary days and long ball football. It's not exciting like it is here. You're getting entertained, you get a family experience, and lots of talent out on display today.
Finally, one of the things I think that happened is as North Carolina FC was making that run to win the USL League One, they knew they were headed to USL Championship. And for John Bradford, there were more players reaching out to him that he could even take. That's a good situation.
Absolutely. You definitely want to be able to select rather than, beg and borrow and steal. And I think they've assembled a really good squad. I think there's going to be other players kind of coming in and going out. But there's a lot of players and a lot of talent there. And he's talked about rotation throughout it, because you can see it's a big pitch out there, and there's no one's 90 minutes fit right now.
By the way, great to be back with you.
Likewise.
As well. Take a look down on the field here at WakeMed Soccer Park as the youngins having a good time as well. That's what you want to see. The future of soccer looks bright. North Carolina FC back in USL Championship, and we've got no score here on CBS Sports Golazo Network. North Carolina FC 0, Charleston Battery 0. We come back, we'll look around at all good things USL.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes, we want the best. Everybody never night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
You've given us a foundation to be proud of. We build on this now. This is it now, gents. This is us from now on.
That's why Lenovo launched the Evolve Small Initiative. We gave every small business the opportunity to use Queen Latifah as the face of their marketing with their own customized video. So far, Lenovo Evolve Small, in partnership with AMD and Microsoft, has helped over 1,000 women and minority-owned small businesses to thrive. With more than $2.4 million in grants, tech, mentorship, and marketing resources. Stay tuned for what's next with Lenovo Evolve Small.
Welcome back to WakeMed Soccer Park, Cary, North Carolina. This was the site 126 days ago when North Carolina FC won USL League One, knowing they were headed to USL Championship. Halftime score, North Carolina FC 0, Charleston Battery 0. So glad you can join us on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Alongside Andrew Tate, I'm Dean Linke, and we'll start with the Western Conference. It's going to be fun seeing some of these teams come to Wake Med Soccer Park.
Yeah, championship in America feels very like the championship in England. There's a lot of big clubs, a lot of money back behind these organizations, but anyone can beat anyone on any given day.
You see Memphis already with a win, as well as New Mexico, and you see Pittsburgh has already, well, I'm not sure about that exactly, but nonetheless, Charleston Battery, Birmingham, Detroit, Hartford, Indy, Loudoun, Louisville, Miami.
Yeah, it was Pittsburgh going down to New Mexico, and Memphis beating Las Vegas Lights. So Las Vegas Lights, I know they made a lot of late additions. They were the opposite of North Carolina FC in terms of getting their business done towards the latter part of preseason. Didn't quite get the result today, but close game.
Take a look around the league scoreboard here.
Yeah, Miami half-time as well. They've got a goal there. Not too many goals flying in today, which I think is kind of typical for the start of the season. But I'm expecting some goals in this one here, Dean, later today. And then obviously later tonight, you've got San Antonio, Loudoun. Loudoun, a much different change side going into this season. And then El Paso, Hartford. Hartford have put a lot of resources into their team this season. Exciting times for them.
Some other key games.
Yeah, Phoenix, the champions, going against Birmingham Legion. Oakland Roots against Indy 11 with a new coach there, and Sean McCauley, and some interesting components to Oakland Roots. And then Sacramento, a team that's always at the top of the table, getting kicked off as well.
USL, bigger and better than ever, including now their media coverage. CBS Sports and ESPN will carry all USL Championship and USL 1 matches. 2 new clubs enter USL as well.
Yeah, Rhode Island obviously in the championship, and then Spokane Velocity into USL League One. So really exciting times for those markets and those fan bases to see the emergence of a club, and always good to see.
Amanda Vandervoort leading the USL Super League, as women's soccer will start at D1 status. They'll play in a different season than the NWSL. It'll overlap for just a little bit, but you know, I just was out in Sacramento calling in an ECNL All-Star game at the girls level. One of the things they want to do in the Super League is not only more opportunities for these talented girls that are playing, but more opportunities for coaches and GMs and front office members that are women as well.
No, it's fantastic, yeah. I mean, there needs to be, when you see the number of girls playing it on the youth level, there needs to be that funnel and that pathway to get them at the highest levels. So absolutely great to see.
Congratulations on all the good things happen for the USL. We'll be back with more from Wake Med Soccer Park as North Carolina FC returning to USL Championship. Halftime score 0s between North Carolina FC and Charleston.
It's tough these days to find healthy and fast, but at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chaufa, with sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family-owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
That's why Lenovo launched the Evolve Small Initiative. We gave every small business the opportunity to use Queen Latifah as the face of their marketing with their own customized video. So far, Lenovo Evolve Small, in partnership with AMD and Microsoft, has helped over 1,000 women and minority-owned small businesses to thrive. With more than $2.4 million in grants, tech, mentorship, and marketing resources. Stay tuned for what's next with Lenovo Evolve Small.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Select Physical Therapy is here for you. Select Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Select Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
It's tough these days to find healthy and fast, but at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chalfa. With sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family-owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
Welcome back to Wake Med Soccer Park. Both teams out there. Dean Leakey with Andrew Tate. Let's get to work and take a look at some of the highlights in this scoreless opening day for both teams.
Yeah, and it was a great ball here from DaCosta, finding Armstrong. It was a great tackle from Archer, sliding across. And then here you see another ball from Menzingen. Perez here with a strike from distance, that left peg we know all too well. Catching it sweet, putting them under pressure. And then Malloy, we saw this all in the first half. Lots of set pieces. This one, Maguire doesn't do great with it. There's so many blue bodies in the way to make sure it doesn't come to anything. This was an awkward one for Maguire. We said he hadn't much to do, and then that one bobbled, and thankfully Paco Craig was there to clear the danger. Didn't see Alexanderson in full flight, but here he comes inside, tries to slip DaCosta in. This is probably one of the best looks that North Carolina had in the first half. But Charleston, as you can see, lots of white shirts getting behind the ball this time to snuff out the danger. DaCosta with that clever back heel that he's so accustomed to using. But a really tight first half. Not a lot in it, Dean. A lot of possession for the Battery, as you can see here, 71-29. But ultimately, didn't really cause a lot of problems for North Carolina. The chances sort of show themselves, but I'm expecting more in the second half as both teams sort to tire. Place your bets, Dean, on both teams using their full 5 subs. I can see that being the option for both coaches as they try to make sure that the level stays high and the energy's there.
So Jake LaCava is going to come out, and coming in is Juan David Torres, the Colombian, and apparently this kid's electric. Ben Pierman telling me that he definitely was good enough to start, but wanted him to settle in as he gets his first look at a real live USL Championship game, and apparently this young man can do quite a bit, so it'll be interesting to see what he adds. Number 80, Juan David Torres, by way of Colombia.
Yeah, LaCava was sitting on that yellow card, wasn't he? And usually an all-action forward. It just didn't quite happen for him in that first half. He's got chaos tattooed on his neck, Dean, and he just didn't quite bring that in that first half. But it's early in the season, and there's big things expected for Jake LaCava this year, 2024. But yeah, good chance for the Battery fans to get a look at Torres.
Carolina FC now will be playing into the Oak City supporters. And here we go, our first look at Juan David Torres. Handled there by Summersaw. And offside is Charleston as they'll get it back. The Eastern Conference, these teams will all be at Wake Med Soccer Park at one time or another. Obviously Charleston today, but then Tampa Bay, Louisville, Indy, Birmingham, Pittsburgh, Hartford, Rhode Island, Detroit, Loudoun, and Miami. Like you think about Tampa Bay, they're coming up soon. A lot of history with Tampa Bay and this club as well.
Yeah, some exciting rivalries renewed, right? And some big clubs coming into the mix. Just a really exciting time for North Carolina fans to rekindle those challenges and see these famous teams in Cary, North Carolina.
Rafa, pretty good ball sent in. It'll be headed out and it'll be a corner kick. Corner kick, North Carolina FC.
eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
Louis Perez heading over for another corner kick. "34 games. 22 against the East, 12 against the West. Sent in, corner kick, top of the 18. Top of the 6, rather. Turning somersault. And there was a whistle already as Charleston had a player down at the top of the 18.
Ball just bounces around. Allen's there. You see Paco Craig just trying to stick out a leg, get the ball, and he kind of goes through the leg of Allen there. It was a good effort from Somersault, though. He didn't know it was a foul. Ridmus was alive to it.
CBS Sports, Golazo Network, your home for this match with North Carolina FC returning to the USL Championship. Somersault. 2 out front for DaCosta. You know, looking back at those highlights, that was a little cheeky back pass to Costa to Armstrong. Armstrong will remember that because next time maybe he'll be ready to first time it, Andrew Tate.
Yeah, that's something that will only come through games, you know, throughout the season. The connection's never going to be there on week 1, but it will go throughout the season and get better, just as the fitness will. And that's the exciting thing. I think you start off today and you can see what the potential is for both teams. But DaCosta, when you look at his highlight reel, those clever touches, he's a mercurial talent. He's got things and does things that other players don't even think about doing. Colin Martin just leaning into that tackle there. Been a few fouls today. The ref's been on top of it, I would say. Great to see that he hasn't flashed the cards too readily. We've had a couple, but not too many.
This TV package with USL is huge. It'll include 35 matches on national TV beginning on April 6th. And Louisville City and Indy 11 are on CBS.
Yeah, it's exciting, Dean. I mean, just more. Anytime you can watch more football and just seeing the build-up to this weekend's games on CBS Golazo, just listening to the Ben Pierman doing an interview and talking about it, and just the exposure to go with the higher quality of players now, it's really exciting.
Here's Allen.
I'll tell you what, Dean, watching Aaron Malloy in the middle of the park, just for a young central midfielder to watch him, if you watch his head, it's always on a swivel. Like, I feel like I'm going to have neck ache when I go to bed tonight just watching him. He's always scanning around, looking kind of messy-like in terms of that little twitch he's got to see what does the other side of the field look like. Trying to position himself to get on the ball and find the place where he can hurt the opposition.
Yeah, I wanted to show him. I texted with him earlier today and then saw him down on the field. It was great to reconnect with Aaron Malloy. He was so great at Penn State as Olex Anderson Jr. unluckily slipped. But he's from Dublin, and I was lucky enough to travel quite a bit with the U.S. national team, but I've never been to Ireland, and I'm going to Ireland, and this is the trek. Nobody can see this on TV, but I wanted to check that with Aaron Malloy to see what he thinks. That looks pretty awesome.
That's your trip.
Yeah.
Right there. All the corners of Ireland right there, Dean.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're traveling in style. You're not on a bike or something like that, Dean.
We're going to move around a little bit, believe it or not. Yeah.
Oh, you'll have a great time. Dublin's a fantastic city. And
well, we're going to start in Dublin, but we're going all over Ireland. We're going up to the cliffs and the greenery and everything. So.
Cliffs and more?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we'll be up at the Ashford Castle a little bit.
Oh, you'll have a great time, Dean. I'm not sure if Aaron Malloy's offering to be a tour guide, but I'm sure you'll have a good time nonetheless.
His text did recommend some key pubs. Not sure what he knows about pubs, you know, being an elite level athlete, but here's Perez.
He'll know a few folks, that's for sure.
Somersault, kind of a tough bounce for him. So just one change for Ben Pierman in the Charleston Battery. No changes for John Bradford. We've already heard Andrew Tate say that he wouldn't be surprised if both teams use all of their subs. Who do you think will be the first sub for, and obviously you're just going to guess, but who do you think might be the first sub for North Carolina FC?
That's a great question, Jim. Maybe the likes of Depends where you go. Jaden Sylvania maybe off the bench into an attacking, into one of those 10 roles in terms of Da Costa or Perez, or potentially in an outside back, or sort of wing back positions in terms of a Rafa Mensing and, you know, maybe a Nelson Flores or a Shaf Brewer, just in terms of the amount of work rate those guys are having to get through on opening day.
We talked about Ponce de Leon, Austin Deleuze now back with the franchise, which I think is another bright light. And then also back with the franchise, the Irish Ninja is one of the goalkeepers. May not play a ton, but big-time goalkeeper a year ago for USL League One in Richmond. He's got a beautiful baby boy that's 11 months. His family is here. His wife's family is here. And great to see him back. He's like you and Austin Deleuze. Like, you guys get better looking as you get older. I don't get it.
Must be all that sleep we're getting with all these kids we're trying to take care of. I heard some news today. Nazmi Al-Badawi just had another baby.
Yeah. Be interested to see if Nazmi will be ready for TST, which will return in early June. As the word is, both the men's team and the women's team will have teams in both of those tournaments.
It's a good little ball from Makaza. Playing in Drac. Paco Craig getting across, conceding yet another corner. Bit of a sore one for the flying left back.
USL Championship, CBS Sports Golasso Network. Another corner kick coming for Aaron Malloy. He's going to need an ice bath on that right leg. Malloy near post. Almost bent that one in, Andrew.
Yeah, they really packed that 6-yard box with bodies.
I was just talking about Austin Deleuze, and here he is.
His ears were burning. As he stops by to say hello here. One of the best. Can't be a better view in USL Championship than what we've got here, Dean.
Oh, the perch. I absolutely love it. Maguire rather.
I just get the feeling, Dean, if there's a goal scored in this game, the floodgates will open. Right now it's a game of chess at the moment, but here we go.
Armstrong, Rafa Mensing making a run. Right down the middle was Da Costa. Here's Martin.
It's great goalkeeping. The ball was hung up in the air, and as a defender, anytime you see your goalkeeper coming and catching the ball, it allows you to take a breath and relax and get up the pitch. And it was a sore one for Rafa. Just got caught there as the goalkeeper was coming down to ground. Concern for the battery here is Leland Archer. Looks like he's grabbing the back of that right leg. Not what you want to see on opening day.
So Ben Pierman going to make his second change as Juan Sebastian Palma, another Colombian, getting ready to come into the game. There's Devin Rensing, the assistant coach.
Well, Palma's a player that started in the championship final at Patriots Point in 2023, so he's a player that, not another debutant coming in, so he'll be accustomed to the players around him. As I say, that Segbers is the only one that's from the team last year in that back four, plus the goalkeeper. So it's a much changed team for the Battery as well this year. But a concern as the captain, the longest serving member of the Battery, departs, and as I said, holding the back of that that right leg, hamstring potentially, but not a good start if you're putting the whole pre-season to suffer a setback this early.
So here's Adam Grinwis, who has a youngster of his own now, Hallie Grinwis. His wife Morgan, who is like Adam from the Grand Rapids, Michigan area. Off the head of Summersall.
Batista, two Giants team, getting them mixed up. Batista, I thought it was Summersall was waving his hands around. You don't want to be doing that if you want a yellow card, but another set piece opportunity for Malloy.
Malloy. Flicked! And they'll say off of Charleston battery, and it'll come back to Jake McGuire.
Nothing. No question about where it's going from Malloy. It's going in the danger area with lots of quality. Michael Craig just misplaces that pass to Batista and gives the impetus back to the battery again here. I think if there's one thing Joan Brad's probably been disappointed with this in possession, they haven't been able to really move the ball with any sort of fluency or rhythm. They've looked great in transition.
Olex Anderson Jr. was hoping to get it to DaCosta. Instead, Martin saves the day. Martin finds Olex Anderson Jr., who plays it into space, and it's knocked out of bounds. That'll lead to a throw-in for North Carolina FC as they're anxious to get it back on the field. Ezra Armstrong will pick it up. My good friends Mike Tesla sending me in some pictures during this broadcast that Ezra's dad, Desmond Armstrong, drew. I mentioned that story that I wrote my first day ever. It was about him being an accomplished artist. I mean, this guy was big time. Pretty good player as well, representing the 1990 U.S. World Cup team, where he started in more than one game for the USA in 1990 in Italy, and was one of the last and final cuts for the 94 team.
Yeah, I'm always very jealous, team, when someone's really, really good at football and then they're also exceptional and something else like art. It's just not quite fair, is it, you know?
Yeah.
Us mere mortals. Next minute you'll tell me he's a scratch golfer as well and I'll just start crying.
Not sure about his golf game. 61st minute. Pretty sure he makes the Nashville area his home, Desmond Armstrong. Take a look at this replay here.
Allen just reaching in through the back of that left leg on Summersall. He's still down now, clutching the front of his knee. That's a concern for North Carolina. But a lot of activity on the bench, those 9 substitutes warming up. Mikey Maldonado, he would be the likely replacement, you would think, for Raheem Summersall, an ever-present in that midfield last year. Really gets through a lot of work. A terrier-like attitude, wins the ball. Can drive forward as well.
North Carolina FC will be on the road next weekend at Loudoun United. Then they'll have back-to-back home games. They've got a March 23rd game against Tampa Bay, and then March 29th, Hartford Athletic. Tickets are still available. Go to NorthCarolinaFC.com to get your tickets today. Paco, captain, sends it long. Kept alive for a moment by Rafa Menzigan. 63rd minute in a game that just feels like it is flying by. Obviously, we've had a couple little minor injuries here in the second half, but you still calling for goals in this one?
I just can't see how there isn't a goal with the amount of talent that's on the field, Dean.
Some of that talent is in the back line as well, though, and two pretty good goalkeepers. Offside flag is up.
I think I just felt when I saw the lineup that North Carolina were putting out with the back three and some of that box midfield, I just felt I was a bit worried for them defensively, but I was excited for them going forward. So it hasn't quite come to that right now, but I think as things tire, all it takes is one mistake, a fresh face off the bench, and a bit of something special, and I think we're off to the races then, Dean. Right now it's a bit cagey, a little bit safe in possession at times, but there's still lots of time left.
Malloy touches it out wide to Segbers. Now back to Malloy. Malloy just kind of has a way to make the game look easy. This is good work for Charleston as they started in the middle, went right, then on the left side. Summersaw tracking all the way back to win it. One back, little touch. Rafa Menzigan plays it forward. That kind of play right there, though, from Raheem Summersaw is one of the reasons why he has elevated himself into that starting role.
Absolutely, yeah, gets through a lot of work, covers the ground, and develop that touch as well to go with it in possession. North Carolina today just haven't been able to play through the lines. They've transitioned well when they broke that pace, but not been able to kind of have those periods of possession where they can ask a question and try to break them down through good play. So I hope that doesn't backfire on them, but it's been the tail of the tape, I think, today. Charleston happy to possess it. North Carolina happy to invite them on, but
it's going to be the third change coming now for Ben Pierman, as Diego Gutierrez, who spent time with Omaha and Portland, is going to come on.
A little bit of confusion. They thought Markanich was coming off, but he's staying on. And Ikaza has departed on the far side of the pitch, so
that'll be it for Amelia Geze. Going to be coming out. What a year last year for NCFC, USL League One champs. Set a club record for wins and points in the season. 19-7-6 with 63 points. Finished second in the regular season. They defeated number 3 seed Northern Colorado 3-1 in the semifinals, and number 4 seed Charlotte Independence in the final 1-1, 5-4 in PKs for the first title in club history in the playoffs. Charleston, meanwhile, USL Championship Eastern Conference champ, as you mentioned, improved by 34 points from the previous season, best in USL Championship history. Regular season, they went 17-9-8 under Ben Pierman, 59 points, and third in the Eastern Conference. Most wins and points since 2002. To give you an idea of how long Charleston's been around. Battery defeated number 6 seed Indy 11 5-0 in the quarterfinals. Number 7 seed Birmingham 2-1 in the semis, and 5 seed Louisville 2-1 in the Eastern Conference Championship game, but then fell to number 6 seed Phoenix 1-1, then 3-2 in PKs in that USL Championship at home. So obviously both teams coming off storybook seasons for the most part. Nine players returning from that USL League One championship team for John Bradford. Mike McGinty back on the bench with him. Mike McGinty, like several North Carolina FC youth coaches, getting quite a bit of time with U.S. Soccer as well. Throw in here. Armstrong! Oh, good idea. as Armstrong kept that one down on the ground. And I thought it had eyes, obviously a little bit off target, but a good idea.
Yeah, it's a looping throw from Batista. Somersault's there, and it just drops kindly to Ezra Armstrong, who just pulls it with that left foot. Another good opportunity off a set piece. It's been the best opportunities, I'd say, for both teams. Just not had that composure or fluency today, either side, but still hope yet.
Armstrong making a good run. Armstrong tries to drop it in. It's loose. Martin will cut it back. Martin! Now Rafa Menzingen. Rafa with the right foot, loops it. Grinwis. And the near post taken care of. It'll come back to Charleston.
It's good play from North Carolina, getting bodies onto that back line. Martin cuts it inside. Tries to drop in that bottom corner. Falls to Rafa on the right wing, loops it to the back post. Armstrong and Olex Anderson Jr. there. He gets the header down, but just wide of the post.
Olex Anderson Jr., good little touch. DaCosta trying to run it down. Can he keep it alive? Played back and handled there, eventually finding Malloy.
I think this is my feeling, Dean. The game's going to open up now with those changes, and the game gets a bit stretched. Tired legs, can't make that run back, or I make that run forward and I gamble. This is why I don't feel this game's going to finish 0-0.
Well said.
Well, we'll see, Dean, won't we? Only time will tell.
Here's Malloy to Gutierrez, one of 3 subs made by Ben Pierman here in the second half. Squared ball and gets away from number 80, Juan David Torres. Olex Anderson Jr. whistled. So 70th minute.
Knows what he's doing there, Graham Smith, getting up early, but here comes Olex Anderson Jr. now.
Olex trying to stay with it. Once the call, doesn't get it.
I think that's good defending from Graham Smith. It's just a touch a little bit too heavy from Olex Anderson Jr. Big defender gets there, gets nothing but the ball.
So now we have the answer to the question. And to give you credit, you did mention Nelson Flores Blanco. The other player will be Evan Conway. So Armstrong will come out on that left side where Nelson Flores Blanco has been a mainstay over the last several years. Good enough to get several call-ups from Hugo Perez, the head coach for El Salvador, former U.S. international. So he'll come in, and then Conway, wearing number 11, is going to come in for Olex Anderson Jr., who we've talked a lot about how he feels about coming out of games.
He was just starting to cause a little bit of trouble, wasn't he? I think that would be the only thing that might get his goal, but he was a good 70 minutes from Olex Anderson Jr. I think we know the potential damage that he can cause at this level, the chaos, the mayhem. But he was disciplined today, kind of dropping in and helping out in midfield, especially trying to keep Aaron Malloy quiet. But Evan Conway's a player, speaking to John Bradford, he's very high on, thinks he's got a lot to offer. So excited to see him pull on the North Carolina jersey today and make his debut at Wakeman Soccer Park.
Charleston now. Rafa comes all the way back in support, has done the job defensively and answered that question. The Battery win it back. Tackle coming in from Rafa Menzingen. And Rafa on the shield. That's really good defending. A little bit more on Conway. He scored 10 goals for San Diego in the 2023 USL Championship season. Has 2 years of experience in both USL Championship and League One. Has 35 total USL goals across 4 seasons. He He is originally from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin.
There's that press again from Charleston. They've made it difficult for North Carolina in possession. As you see Batista just slice it away. We just haven't been able to play through the lines. Battery get the ball back here in the attacking third.
Martin trying to get it through Malloy. Good work by Washington. Now Mensigan, 1v1 defending. So 3 changes for Ben Pierman in the Charleston battery, 2 changes for John Bradford in North Carolina FC. We're in minute 74.
A little disconnection there with Palmer and Malloy. Got away with it though.
Nelson Flores Blanco will play it back. Malloy. Looks like Ben Pierman, I thought he was getting ready to make another change. Crack.
Charleston right now, you're happy with what's going on. Your changes have settled in. You're dominating possession as they have been. The question is, can they break down this back 3, back 5 for North Carolina?
Washington got a touch on it, but now
great recovery for Bryce Washington there. He thought he was beaten, but he limps away from it.
Batista, we're in minute 75. Turning with it is Malloy. Malloy is a handful. I told you he'll shoot from anywhere. And he'll actually hit his own player who was in an offside position. It'll come back to North Carolina FC.
It's insult to injury right there, isn't it? Been interested to see where that Malloy shot was headed. I mean, there's a real statement as well. You know, with Malloy, Leland Archer going off, Malloy's now got the captain's armband. That just shows the influence that he has, not only in possession, but as a character around the group. I know Ben Pierman looks for, in terms of his recruitment strategy, he talks about trying to bring in players of high character and high energy, and Aaron Malloy epitomizes that.
Nelson Flores Blanco saw Rafa on the far side and did enough to earn a corner kick. It'll be a corner kick for North Carolina FC.
It's a good ball from Flores Blanco. Awkward one for the left back, Josh Drack there. Doesn't know where Rafa is and doesn't take any chances and clears the danger. Now we get the in-swinger. I'd like to see Perez really whip this one with some pace. Well, all he needs is just a little glancing flick. I've seen a lot of floated ones. Love to see a bit of pace on one here, a bit of bend and whip.
77th minute. North Carolina FC back in USL Championship. With all of you on Saturday night. Turned out to be a pretty nice night. I mentioned that in the first half, Andrew, but I thought by now we'd be layered up, but it's pretty comfortable.
After the morning we've had here in Carey, this is all right.
Corner kick, North Carolina FC, headed first by Charleston. Rafa first timed it, not a bad idea actually, but just not quite on target. So Ben Pierman wants to talk to one of his players. Segbers plays it forward. Batista's there.
Battery are sort of asking a few more questions, I feel, of this back three, back five, by kind of flooding the four players, foremost attacking players in Rodriguez, Gutierrez, Torres, and Markanich, just sticking them on top of the back three, almost trying to overload them. 4v3, hoping the wing backs switch off. Gibbons trying to push them to stay as high as possible.
Good work by Paco. Now here's Rafa.
It's a good run.
Rafa. And there's Grinwis. Comes all the way out. Malloy. Good switch from Charleston. Gutierrez. The track making the overlapping run. They'll bring it back to Malloy. Malloy will get it again.
Anyone's questioned Rafa Mensingen's defensive qualities, I think they've been answered today.
Well, I asked it early, and you're totally right. He's answered it.
That's what made me feel it was such an attacking lineup. We're used to seeing him in sort of a wide forward role, and today he's been asked to do a bit more defensively, and he's been certainly up to the task.
Somersault does well to win it back for North Carolina FC. We're in minute 80, folks. CBS Sports Golazo Network. There's Juan David Torres, number 80. Graham Smith will get it back from Segbers. So Charleston minutes away from making yet another change. Meanwhile, looking down at North Carolina FC.
So that'll be Charleston's 5, right? After these two, Dean? That'll be their quota, I believe.
So,
and if a couple come from North Carolina, we've got one joker left in the pack, Dean, and I'm short of my bet. Right? So I don't gamble.
Here's Malloy.
Close but no cigar.
'81st minute. North Carolina FC's next opponent on the road, as I mentioned, Loudoun United. They ended last year with 25 points in 34 games. But you mentioned you felt like they made a lot of changes in the offseason.
Yeah, I know Ryan Martin well, and obviously in the past they've been sort of that DC United 2 sort of model, and now they've gone out on their own, they've added some experience, they've got some characters there. I think it'll be interesting to see what they can do this year.
So here come the final two changes for
Drax had a good game, I would say. Flying left back, really got through some work. Good young player. Player I think the Battery fans will enjoy.
Nathan Dos Santos, the Canadian, spent time with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. First one in, and then number 36, Jackson Conway from Marietta, Georgia, from Atlanta United FC will come into the game. Washington gets a touch on it. seeing Rafa now try to leak forward a little bit more as they play this over the top, and McGuire is out, and he'll have it. 83rd minute. I 100% hope you're right, Andrew. You are right almost all of the time. But there are times in this game where it does feel like a 0-0 game. Maybe not right now. It's NCFC on the attack. Kicked off middle of the field, won back by North Carolina FC. Martin calmly will get it back to Batista. Won back by the Charleston battery. They'll play it into space. Good hustle from Washington. He's had a pretty good game. Summersaw goes flying down. And now a foul called against the Charleston battery, and I believe a yellow card against Conway, who just came in.
Summersaw there to mop up as always. Those long legs get him to the scene more often than not. And here come the changes. North Carolina. See the tackle there from Conway. Definitely got some of the ball. I think it was the second tackle there.
So Cervania is going to be one of them. And then also coming into the game is number 49, Julian Placius. As it looks like Luis Perez, who I thought has had a nice game as well, is going to come off.
Restore Hyperwell substitution in the 85th minute of play. Coming out of the match, number 16, Rodrigo da Costa. Coming in, number 49,
Placius now into the game. Number 49, 6'3", from Orange County, California. Meanwhile, Jaden Cervania, still a youngster.
It is amazing that he's 22, Jaden Cervania, because I remember commentating on the game when he was playing for Birmingham Legion, and that was like 6 years ago, Dean. He was young then. He's only 22 now. A real talent. But yeah, great to see Julian Placius making his debut. I know a player that the club are very high on. He's going to go and play through the middle in that number 9 spot, with Conway just sliding into where Da Costa was, sort of that right number 10.
Beautiful trap from Nelson Flores Blanco. Cervania, good ball across. Conway tried to get to it, and Rafa was waiting if, in fact, Evan Conway was able to drop it back at all. Now Grinwis will play it in. 86 minutes, still no score. The return of North Carolina FC to USL Championship. 1 season removed, and in fact 126 days removed from winning USL League One. Throw in for North Carolina FC, finds Cervania. Cervania will dribble it out of bounds. John Bradford, assisted by a ton of great young coaches. Mike McGinty, Andrew Scheck, Bobby Humphrey. A little touch there, and hard tackle coming in, and it's going to be a yellow card called against North Carolina FC. And that's the new player. C is number 49.
Placius put himself about. Conway's on the scene as well, but Placius slides through, catches Juan Sebastian Palmer there.
This gets a yellow in the 87th minute of play, number 49, Julian Placius.
Stay with us after the game, as we'll have one break, but we'll come back to wrap it up and show you everything that happened right here on CBS Sports Golazo Network. We're in minute 88. Washington makes himself available on the right side, finds Rafa. Rafa did well to earn the throw in as he knocked it off Dos Santos.
I'll tell you what, Dean, I've got to hand it to the Battery fans. They have not stopped. 88 minutes almost of just non-stop noise after a 4.5-hour, 5-hour ride up 85. Full credit to them. It's great to see that atmosphere, Dean, as the USL expands and you get these local rivalries and derbies. It's great to see that. It's something I grew up with, is just sort of like you hop in the car and you drive down the road, but you can't do that very often when you're going to, what is it, 7-hour flight across the country. Not as easy to get there, but great to see the rivalry here.
Oh, amen. Super excited. Before we had King Andrew arrive, Andrew, back in the early days, 2007, 8, 9, we would do the home games and the away games. I would travel on the road. As that shot is right there, it's a little bit too high. So you would really get to feel all of the stadiums and the energy and everything around it. And the fact that we've now returned back to USL Championship, it's going to be great to be reconnected with great fan bases, great coaching staffs, big-time players. You see that shot right there. Sorry.
It's a great touch from Conway, and then beat it to Torres, who was in a good position, just straight down the middle and over the bar. Kind of sums up the day. Close, but not close enough. Both teams just not quite in top gear today. They've been at the races. It's been a competitive and intriguing encounter. But both teams are sort of lacking that quality that you'd expect towards the latter part of the season. But lots to be excited about.
Nelson Flores Blanco, how about that touch? He has had a couple just absolutely beautiful touches. Washington, Rafa. Andrew Tate was out of practice with me on Thursday. This one sent across and in. Somersault. Now Martin. Here's Batista. Batista celebrated his birthday on Thursday. Andrew Tate had to go get his $100 haircut. You missed this birthday celebration. They had the pie in the face and the water run both. They doubled down on Batista.
Buy one, get one free.
As Cervania goes down.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 6 minutes of additional time.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
It's quite a bit of time.
Segments, all action. Gets the ball, concedes the corner though. I think 6 minutes got to be for the subs. The injury to Leland Archer. Put all that together. Time for a goal.
Referee wants to get things sorted out in and around the 6 right now on this corner kick for Cervania. I'll tell you what, if North Carolina FC can find a goal off a corner kick, considering the amount of possession Charleston has had, it would just be fantastic. Cervania, as Batista got a little bit too much jersey as he climbs the ladder there.
It's been a real struggle in there, real battle in both boxes, hasn't it? All the bodies falling around and clattering into each other. But as you mentioned earlier, defenses have been on top. Something, and listening to one of Ben Pierman's interviews going into this game, he talked about if the Battery are having success, you'll see us sort of enjoying the struggle. And you can see they're cut out to weather some moments, but also they can play as well. So positives for the Battery.
With Jorge Acuna moving on, I want to welcome Emily Hunter Valencia, the Director of Live Production and Technology, another one of those key hires. Worked a lot of games with Emily over at Duke, a key addition to the staff. And speaking of staff. Our crew outstanding as always. Kyle Lang leading the crew. Joe Ferrara producing. Thomas Mahler, Ian Lang, Ryan Moeller, the great Brian Ware, Larry McLean, Chris Wash, and the big man, Mark Dry, in the house. Dos Santos. Knocked out of bounds there by Rafa Mensingen. We've already played almost 3 minutes of the 6 minutes of added time. Rafa. It's feeling like a 0-0 game, and Andrew, not to take away your thoughts on goals in this game, but now you're at a point where with just 3 minutes remaining, it'd be heartbreak city for the team on the wrong side of a goal scored here in the final 3 minutes.
This time last year, it was the champions Sorrento that were in the house in League One. And that game finished 1-0. I don't think it was a late heartbreaker, but it was a one-goal game that decided it. And maybe a couple of chances here still to go before the game is up.
Yellow card issued on this play right here.
It's not a good tackle from Torres at all there. Lunging in, the stud showing. You're going to pick up a yellow card at least all day long for that.
Sometimes a red with both feet up.
Yeah, they call that a striker's tackle there, Dean. Not a good one.
Great to be with you all on CBS Sports Golazo Network for North Carolina FC's return to USL Championship. Great to have the history of the Charleston Battery here for that return. Grinwis gets a punch on it. Grinwis never shy. It reminded me before the game that Brad Friedel played till he was 44 over in England in some of the top leagues. So at 31, that is pretty young for a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's different to being an outfield player. I think 31, you're probably just coming into your peak. You've probably got another 5, 6, 7 years ahead of you, especially the way the players look after themselves these days.
Yeah, he said he's been a pro now 10 years and wouldn't mind getting 10 more. Well, you're right. I mean, the Battery is the fans. I'm going to have that beat in my head all night tonight.
No, it's full credit to the rainy Saturday coming up from South Carolina. I mean, I wouldn't want to leave Charleston personally, Dean. Beautiful part of the country. But full credit to them to get behind the team today and cheering them on to a point, what it looks like here. Advantage played by the ref, though. Maybe there's one more chance.
Nelson Flores Blanco. Yeah, this is going to be it, I think. We are in the 6th minute. Nelson Flores Blanco keeps it down low on the ground. Still alive, back across. And that's probably going to be it.
That was almost the moment John had been saying how Nelson had been saying he's a number 10 and he can do all these things, and he almost pulled it out of the bag there. A brilliant play from the left wing back, slides it into Conway. He's wrestling and wriggling, trying to find that space. Just doesn't get the execution there to find that goal, that elusive goal today.
So Conway, part of several new players in for John Bradford, but with the return to USL Championship, John Bradford's North Carolina FC team with 0. Aaron Malloy's Charleston Battery team with 0. Nelson Flores Blanco pretty good as well. We're going to take one more break and come back and wrap things up here. Final score, North Carolina FC and Charleston Battery 0-0. Stay with us for our final highlights.
That's That's why Lenovo launched the Evolve Small Initiative. We gave every small business the opportunity to use Queen Latifah as the face of their marketing with their own customized video. So far, Lenovo Evolve Small, in partnership with AMD and Microsoft, has helped over 1,000 women and minority-owned small businesses to thrive. With more than $2.4 million in grants, tech, mentorship, and marketing resources. Stay tuned for what's next with Lenovo Evolve Small.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Select Physical Therapy is here for you. Select Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Select Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
It's tough these days to find healthy and fast, but at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chaufa, with sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family-owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
The return of North Carolina FC to the USL Championship 126 days after they won the USL League One title right here on this field. Olex Anderson Jr. had some moments of brilliance, but we thought we were going to see a lot of goals, but they didn't come.
No, I was wrong, Dean. It happens, but there was lots of good play, good enterprise in play. Great tackle here for Leland Archer. This was a big part of why the game stayed 0-0, just the quality defending from both sides. Committed defending. Malloy there sticking a boot out, guiding it wide. We saw a lot of set pieces from that right boot of Aaron Malloy as well. But both teams flooding shirts and bodies in the way. Grinding out that clean sheet. There was a Maguire chance where he just fumbled it, but Paco Craig was there to see it to safety. Olex Anderson Jr., this will be something you'll see throughout the season in full flight, but here gets unselfish, looks for DaCosta. Little back heel, and Armstrong's touch just a little heavy. But Malloy there again to snuff out the danger. And then here was Colin Martin wriggling, trying to get on that left foot. Ford, once again, body's in the way to block it. And then once it comes to Olex Anderson Jr., gets the header down. Under pressure, and it goes wide. Here was a late chance, it was Conway. Finds Torres. Torres over the bar. And right at the very end, Nelson Flores Blanco showing some trickery, finding Evan Conway in the box. And that summed it up, just that execution, that final pass, that final bit of quality, just not quite there for either side today, but a point for both teams. Here's the stats we see, close in shots, not many, one shot on target. That sort of sums up the day, Dean. Lots of possession for the Battery, equal on corners, but a very even affair. Great for North Carolina FC to be able to compete with one of the top teams from last season, and a point for both teams as they move on.
The return to USL Championship ends in a 0-0 draw as Ben Pierman's Charleston Battery gets a point. John Bradford's team also gets a point. Forward, Kyle Lang, Joe Ferrara, Thomas Mahler, Ian Lang, Ryan Moeller, Brian Ware, Mark Dry, Larry McLean, Chris Wash, my broadcast partner, the great Andrew Tate. I'm Dean Linke saying so long from Wakemet Soccer Park, where your final score is North Carolina FC 0 and the Charleston Battery 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.